We now are aware of more than 100 U.S. service members who have been diagnosed with traumatic brain injuries. These are those same traumatic brain injuries that Donald Trump previously described as not serious headaches, all as a result of that January 8th Iranian missile attack on the military base in Iraq. The Pentagon said yesterday the exact number is 109 service members who have been diagnosed. The most recent number was 64, but remember that the number initially started far lower at 10, which was never really a believable number, and we'll get to that in a moment. Now, we're not saying these 109 brain injuries are the most serious brain injuries. Some are mild. About 70% of the service members are or are soon going to be back to work. But remember that Donald Trump wrote these off as headaches, cadet bone spurs, deciding that these are mere headaches. Remember this?
I want to play, though. Here's how the president described it when he was asked about these injuries.
I heard that they had headaches and a couple of other things, but I would say, and I can report, it is not very serious.
And Republicans actually ran interference for Trump. Here is sick, vile Senator Tom Cotton, truly one of the worst, saying, well, Trump's not really dismissing them as headaches. He's describing them as headaches. And that, of course, is perfectly fine to do.
So I think
veterans groups are calling for the president to apologize. Should he apologize for calling it not very serious?
He's not dismissing their injuries. He's describing.
He said they're headaches and not very serious.
I think he's describing their injuries. He's not dismissing their injuries. Head injuries can be
he
on
said
anywhere.
Headaches. I don't consider them very serious.
Well, that's like saying that having a flesh wound is not very serious.
Well, veterans groups, and I know you're a veteran, and I know you know people who suffered from TBI, as do I. Don't you think it's serious, and that the president may need to apologize?
No, I mean, if they are in fact, if all these injuries are not serious, if they're on the less serious side of the scale than the severe traumatic side of the scale, the president is just describing what happened to him. He's not dismissing them.
Nice people, right? So when we talk about a brain injury, TBI, traumatic brain injury, it can vary in severity, but it's not a headache. That we know for sure. Sometimes they happen in sports. We know football, this is a big issue. Hockey, it can be a big issue. There's even questions about younger kids using their head to hit a soccer ball, potentially causing a sort of a similar dynamic. It can happen in a car accident when a passenger's head hits the windshield of the vehicle, and they happen to people in the military. The most notable thing here is that from day one, we knew that they weren't giving us the real number. They said, well, it's 10 or 11. And that number was clearly BS. And the phrasing of how they gave us that first number suggested that it was not 10 or 11. We knew it couldn't be the right number. And then it became something like maybe 35. And then we had the number 64. And now the number is 109 because they are lying. They are lying all the time about everything, period. And by the way, we hear about service member injuries because we're hearing about it from the U.S. Pentagon, and the number is now 109. Obviously, there were also non-American, non-service members injured, and we simply haven't heard about that. Civilians and others concussed by the missiles that resulted from Donald Trump's assassination of Qasem Soleimani. There were known to be hundreds of people in the area, if not more. They weren't all service members, and we may never even know the full number as it applies here. My question to you is, do you think that the average Trumpist who believes the lies they are told by this administration ever gets like a shot of shame or a shot of humiliation or a tinge of embarrassment from realizing that they've been duped, that they've been had, that they've been bamboozled on everything, right? And now we're talking about brain injuries and Trump dismissing them as headaches, but it could be about the wall. It could be about taxes. It could be about trade. It could be about growth. It could be about whatever. Do they ever feel that tinge of something, or will they never get it? And there's something, I alluded to this earlier, and I think it bears repeating here. There's something in here that is similar between Trump's lies to the people who get tricked into following a cult leader who says, again, the world's ending on April 21st, or there will come a day where we all need to drink poisoned Kool-Aid, or whatever the case may be. And then the prophecy fails or the justification falls flat, but they still follow the dear leader because they either somehow rationalize it or they've put, for some people, it's that they've put so much of their own identity in with whatever ideology, and the term ideology in some cases is not the right one, with whatever talking points have been presented to them associated with this leader, and they can never back out. And behavioral psychology might call it a cognitive dissonance of sorts. In the cult world, they might call it brainwashing. There are different words that would apply depending on how you see this, but increasingly the cult analysis, including, we had a guest on, Stephen Hassan, who has been studying this quite a bit. Increasingly, the cult analysis is the most appropriate one for talking about what it is that is going on with the average Trumpist. Tell me what you think. Is it more cultish? Is it more cognitive dissonance? Is it out of ignorance? Is it something else altogether? I want to hear from you, maybe via Twitter at @dpakman. Do you feel like you just don't have enough time to become as intellectually well-rounded as you would like to be, that there are just not enough hours in your week for you to read all of the books that you want to read? One of our sponsors is called Blinkist, and it's an app that lets you consume an entire nonfiction book in 15 minutes. It's only about $8 a month, but you can try it for free for a week and get 25% off a subscription when you go to Blinkist.com/Pakman. What Blinkist does is take thousands of popular nonfiction books and condense them into either text or audio that you can read or listen to in just 15 minutes. And what you get is all of the most important ideas and information from the book. Imagine being able to listen to an entire nonfiction book in the amount of time it takes you to drive or walk home from work. I just finished listening to The Way We Eat Now by B. Wilson, whose work I've recommended to you before. Super interesting look at how the global food system works and impacts the way that we live. Blinkist has totally transformed how I consume information. I love it. Of course, I read a book in its entirety when I can, but there are simply just so many books that I want to read and would not have the time for if it weren't for Blinkist. They have books on politics, economics, philosophy, science, you name it. You can try it out yourself, totally free for a week, and get 25% off if you decide to subscribe just by going to Blinkist.com/Pakman. I've put the link right underneath this video. Like the rest of us, I bet you're going into 2020 thinking about what you didn't get around to in 2019 and your goals for the new year. If you want to work towards being your best self in 2020, understand more about the world around you, and make sure that your time is well spent, then Blinkist is for you.